Okay, well, good morning, all TV Cap viewers. We're just about to bring in Mr. Adrian Hanks. So just hold on there, Adrian. We're coming your way. And I think we've got him in. Let's have a look. Guests, Adrian Hanks. Add to stream. There we go. Got to press the right buttons.
There we go, man. How are you?
There, mate, I'm very well. As you would say, life is full. In fact, I think it's going over the brim right now. So,
Yeah.
right. So, yes, it's been a phenomenal week and a half of fullness. What about yourself?
Pretty full, mate. There's lots going on. There's we're talk about Cap a little bit. The company is up and happening and running, which is really exciting for you and I.
Yes.
We've got the marriage of Figaro.
That's it. We got married, right? We became work husbands during this week.
I'm just going to keep you in the kitchen, though, mate.
Right, there we go. Yeah.
Well, just for clarity.
I thought you were the one doing the cooking.
That's what I say. I'm only going to keep you in the kitchen.
Right. Okay. As long as you're not barefoot and pregnant, that'll be fine.
That's it, mate. So, yeah, very exciting news for us. But yeah, look, mate, lots going on. Lots of exciting things. New video series just coming out this week, which is exciting. The book's happening. Life is good. I've been doing lots of running, and I'll talk about that a little bit because today's Wellness Wednesday, of course. A little bit of a change, Tommy G, from our usual Monday slot. We've had a bit of a shift around. We decided, let's mix it up a little bit. So we're trying a little bit on a Wellness Wednesday. So we can speak about wellness today, and it's a full entirety because of Wellness Wednesday. But I'm feeling good because I've been doing a lot of running. I've run 55K so far through the month of October, heading for my 110 Ks for my charity run, and ran 11 last Wednesday, 11 on Saturday. I'm running 11 again tonight, so I'm doing pretty okay. It's feeling fit and healthy and good.
Very good, very good. Well, you know what? I'm just going to quickly grab the old battery because the phone seems to have had its power somewhat extracted in the last few hours of activity on the beach.
Well, you go and do that, Tommy, and I'll talk a little bit about Wellness Wednesday.
Well, Wellness Wednesday, and we're talking about flow.
We are.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. So Wellness Wednesday. What a great wording we have, because the Corporate Alchemist Project, we have something for every day of the week. We have a Move It Monday, Tasty Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday. We have a Thoughtful Thursday. We have a Freedom Friday, Social Saturday, and then we have a Soulful Sunday. So we actually have a full calendar every day of the week, bringing content in and around one of those topics. So it's always stays full. There's always something to discuss, always something to research, always something to grasp hold of and use as a resource or a tool every single day, because this journey of wellness does not stop. It doesn't really have a day off. We can have a restful day or a slower day, but it doesn't stop. Every single day is about focusing in on health. It's about focusing in on, and here comes another segue, on the flow. It's always about focus on the flow. So if we can flow from Monday to Monday, Monday to Monday, Monday to Monday in a really nice flow by engaging with these things we bring every day, the move, the sleep, the eat, the meditations, the psychological, the spiritualogical, and we find that flow. Wow, what a great, exciting place to find. So Tommy G, a little bit today for you, my friend, is from that physiological, psychological space, getting in the flow. Because getting in the flow just doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing, does it, my friend?
Exactly right. I think when we're talking about flow, we're also talking about certain things that will become somewhat automatic. So I don't want people to think that you've got to be working on it all the time, every day, because, I think everybody's overwhelmed enough as it is right now. But what it is about is, making a little bit of a consistent effort on some really simple things, which is why we have the flow of the week. I'm using that word a lot throughout this next 25 minutes. The flow of the week being, as you said, Movement Monday, Tasty Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday. Here we are doing this on a Wellness Wednesday. And Thoughtful Thursday, Freedom Friday, Social Saturday, Soulful Sunday. Investing in the portfolio of life. And if you can get into that flow of just being aware of that particular day and perhaps what it can represent in your week, and you do that for a week, then you've started to, the first step is become aware, and then making some simple steps on those days. I think being aware of it, sometimes it automatically happens, but if you need to make a little bit of an effort, then that's okay. And then with flow, if you're consistent, it actually becomes automatic, like learning to drive, for those of us that did, Adrian, a manual car. Geez, I haven't seen many of those around these days. Damn it, they were good fun though. Driving a manual car becomes automatic. And you don't even think about it anymore while you're changing gears and your left foot's pushing in the clutch, and your hands changing to the appropriate gear, while you're probably thinking about what you're going to be having for dinner tonight and, how did that last meeting go, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely is. And it's about how do we then start that journey of that flow. It's like if we've got a river in front of us and we want to put a little craft in that river to get that craft flowing down the river, we have to launch. We have to actually build the boat, put it in the water, make sure it's buoyant, make sure it's all gonna not smash apart, and then we set the boat off down the journey down the river. Sometimes it may hit the rapids, sometimes it may bounce off a rock. We get washed up on the shore, occasionally have to relaunch. So it's a continual journey, that flow energy.
It totally is.
Yeah. So what are some of the key points, Tommy, to get into the flow in the first place?
Right. Okay. So, for me, the beginning of my day is really important, and it's so tempting to sort of like start booking up the first things in the morning and meetings, and especially if you're in a global gig in a corporation, you're going to have the US, if you're here in Asia Pac, trying to book times with you at stupid times for us. And, you want to be able to own that space. That is your time. And everybody outside of you needs to learn that. Everybody, first person needs to learn it, of course, is you, to make that important, right? As in, no, it's not you, Adrian, but you yourself, right?
I need to learn it too sometimes. Don't worry, my friend. There's moments when I don't honour that space. When I let it go and go, whoa, I shouldn't have booked that client in there because it's too many or too early.
Right. Yeah, and so that beginning of the day, owning that space to get into the right gear and get into the flow of the day. And to do that, I would, I'm getting up and I've got some normal things that I do as a routine thing. Like I'll make my bed every morning. It's like the key little thing. Every morning, make it, and I feel like I've achieved something for the day. But then meditation, I'll put in my oil, and I'll have my essential oil burning away there, and that'll sort of get me into a bit of a groove. And then meditation for about 25 minutes. I'm using Joe Dispenza's stuff, and he has a morning meditation that I use, and a lot of it's to do with visualization, and abundance. And also the big one is breath work. So, breathing in through the tummy, and then, breathing out slowly through the nose. Some of them are through the mouth, but the thing is, breathe in through your stomach is the big piece of this. And that's going to settle the body down so that the body that you are, using here on planet Earth is getting into a calm state, from sympathetic, for the heart rate variability experts out there, into more of a balanced state with the parasympathetic, right? So the body is just feeling balanced, feeling calm, and then you can get into that sense of flow. And during your meditation, all those thoughts that come in, like drifting clouds, let them just drift. Do not judge them. allow them to come in, and then just allow them on their way back out while you go back into that centered piece and focus on your breath work. That's one way to get into flow, certainly for me in the mornings. But when you're in the heat of battle, that's when it gets a little more interesting to get into flow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when, having those tools or resources at once, front of mind. I will say to people, if you've got your 3 go-to places to relax or to bring yourself back into center, so you don't have to go searching through them, you don't have to, go to the yellow pages and say, which resource am I going to find now for this moment? If you get used to having 3 clear resources you can drop into in a nanosecond, after a while they become habit. And it's like, oh, I'm feeling stressed, I'm going to meditate. I'm feeling stressed, I'm going to go for a jog. I'm feeling stressed, I'm going to put my music on. Feeling stressed, I'm going to blah, blah, whatever it is. Having 1 or 2 or 3 immediate resources, for me, is what I teach the people I'm working with, so that there's no guesswork, don't have to go searching, don't have to go into the thinking mind. It's just right. They're in my first aid box, and I can just grab them anytime, and then get back into flow. Get back into flow.
Exactly right. And like you said, some sort of a physical activity, especially we sit down so much, and in the corporate world, it's now become we've got these little boxes, or we used to when we used to go in there. I think some office buildings are being repatriated now to a degree, but a lot of companies, especially the funky ones, are saying, you know what, don't come back for a year. Stay out until they set a current date of 6 months to a year down the track. If you want to be working from home, go for it. And, that gives you a bit more control over your environment. But let's say you are in the office environment, or you are sitting down too much at home. Like you said, if things are starting to get tight and tense, and there's anxiety and overwhelm building, it's like exercise. The best time to be doing things that you don't want to, because when we become stressed, we also don't want to exercise. That is the best time to just break that feeling. Have enough courage and will within yourself to just go, you know what, I'm going to interrupt that space. Look at that space between stimulus and response that's going on right now. Rise above it to a level of awareness to go, okay, let's take some breaths, and actually I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk around for a few minutes. And apparently with flow, if you are working to about 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, right? Now, I'm not doing this, and I'm seriously considering how I implement that in my day. But apparently performance-wise, and I know executives are all about performance, right? Because they've got the pressure on them to do that from the hierarchy all the way up and back to Wall Street and beyond, that you take a 5-minute break every 25 and do something completely different, your performance is actually going to increase. And there's research on this, right? The same with the tennis player, many tennis players, many sports people, but one that's very obvious is, what's his name? The Spanish guy that wins all the French Opens all the time, Nadal, right?
Nadal, yep.
Yeah. So Nadal, you see how absolutely machine-like routine that guy is. But what he's doing is when he's focused on the game, he's on the game. And then when he goes to his routine, he's going through a routine and he's focusing and thinking about other things. He's moving in a certain way. He's walking. He's done the same stuff, the shirt every time. Some reason he's always getting his shorts out of his bottom. I don't know what's with that, but he's got that. You'll see him. He's like a robot with that. But what he's doing is he's taking his attention away from the game, right? In his mind as well. And then when he's back into his, serving or receiving stance, he's back on the tracks. Yep. This oscillation for ultimate human performance is really, really important. And when you can get that flow and routine going, and the body's not in a state of panic, breath is in the gut, right? You're taking a 5-minute break if you're sitting down every 25 minutes to get up and walk around. Even those that are at standing desks, I'm doing it a little too often where all morning I'm at the standing desk. If you're standing there all the time, it's better than sitting down for that, but you've still got to move every 25 or so minutes, do a couple of laps of, the apartment.
Got to get the blood flow, the energy flow, Yeah, and I don't know if you can see it here, Tommy, but just probably behind me here, you can see I've got a stack of didgeridoos.
Look at that.
That's my go-to for my breathing, my belly breathing.
There
3
we
minutes
go.
on 3 minutes on the didge. I get up, grab my didge, blow into my didge,
And
clear the mind,
vibration,
clear the
beautiful
space,
vibration.
back in again, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
I mean, great. That's a great way to do it. I mean, yeah. For me, listening to music playing in the background, and my mood will change, and so the music changes. But having that lounge sort of I feel completely different when music's on. I can feel it. It's conspicuous by its absence when I don't hear music in the background for me. And when it's on, it just feels so good. To have that as well, helping you. A lot of people listen to music when they're working these days, which is great. But it's just so important to be in flow. And we can monitor this today as well, Adrian.
Yep.
Right. So as you know, I'm all about the tech to help us build our awareness and help us build the skills so that we can do these things organically ourselves at the end of the day. That's the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
But some of us need a bit of a leg up, and some of us to speed up building that awareness and being able to pick that up so that you can be able to do it yourself ultimately at the end of the day. There's a device now and a company I'm working with where we're going to be building a program around flow. And they've been very successful in the sports arena with golfers. And, executives love the golf. And, but
I love my golf too. I love my golf.
There you go. Yeah, I love it when I, once in 100 strokes, hit it straight down the fairway. But
I just got to get into flow. Just get into flow, mate, and the game is beautiful.
There you go, right? There you go. And so this device helped Jason Day, the golfer, go from 37th in the world to first in the world. He was great on the practice green, would crush it. Got into game day, different thoughts and things were coming into his head, and the emotions were building, and he was not in that calm frequency state, because you've got a lot of different bands: beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma, and you want to be in that theta alpha state, not that heavy sympathetic mode like fight or flight mode of beta a lot of the time, So learning. And he was teaching Jason Day and other golfers, and there's other sports people as well now, how to get into that state, and amazing results. Getting to number one, I mean, that's big dollars in any sport, right?
Yep.
So, and it's a lot more satisfying. He's out there thinking, I'm now performing at my peak. I'm in flow. It feels so much easier, right? And once you get there and know how that feels and how to get there, amazing results. It's effortless. Yeah. It's effortless.
Yeah, and this is the point, isn't it? It's about changing that mindset, or actually letting go of that mind and the stories, and I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or I'm not hitting it right, and actually training our mind that what we do well is what we do well, and telling ourselves, I can actually do that. Letting the body naturally move, a natural golf swing. We can do all the lessons in the world in golf, but if we can just trust our natural body to swing a golf club and hit a ball and get it in a hole, it does it every time, because the only thing that stops it actually happening is the mindset. I've been there myself on the golf course when I've been in the sweet spot and I just let my body just be, and I let my mind be. It's like, while I'm on the green.
That's it. You've got it, Adrian. It's exactly what it is. And from a scientific point of view, because what's going on is when you're using the prefrontal cortex, which is thought, thinking, that thing is actually so slow compared to the rest of your brain. It's like ridiculously slow, doing its analyzing and all that. And, and then it's raising certain emotions and anxiety. When you can be present, you're not thinking forward, you're not thinking back behind, in the past. When you are totally there and you don't think, as a matter of fact, and you let the body, because it knows if you've been practicing enough and it all runs, that other 93% of our brain, that it goes to work, and it is so fast as a processor compared to the thinking. brain that it just knows everything to do. And that's why it feels effortless.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, Tommy, from my own experience in golf, and I'm only a bit of a part-time golfer hacker. My first 6 months in golf was probably the best I played my golf, because I just went out playing for fun with a couple of mates, couple of sticks, hit a ball, on the golf club down in Victoria, 30 years ago or so. And I actually hit a hole-in-one. It's the only time in my life on the Warburton golf course in Victoria. I think on the 8th or 9th, par 3. Couldn't find my ball. I thought, it's on the green somewhere, and look, and it was in the hole. My only ever hole-in-one, and that was in my first 6 months of golf, playing with a friend, Michael. And I think it sort of went backwards then, because in some way, because I wasn't regular, I wasn't getting the body into shape, but my mind was starting to tell me stories I cannot. But when I was first on the green, on the golf course, I was just hitting it for fun and knowing my distance and trusting. And I sort of, because I wasn't a regular golfer, obviously if you're a regular golfer, you get better because you get lessons. But in terms of just a part-time golfer, without lessons and without getting too serious about it, I haven't gotten better, but I haven't really got worse. But I think that first 6 months, because I was in the flow, I just remember that time. Well, I remember hole-in-one. That was
wow.
pretty incredible.
Yeah, and then if you start thinking about stuff or thinking about your game, and thoughts starts coming in, and you start to tighten up, and then you go through a bit of an ebb from your flow.
Yeah, one of the common ones I learned. He's in the flow, mate. He's all right. He's in his V6.
It's in the flow. Yeah, it's a Cobra actually. It was nice car, but an idiot driving it.
In the flow. Yeah, so I just know in golf, taking golf as an analogy, I can do a story in my head and going, let's get on the green, let's get 10 meters from the pin, rather than let's just get the ball in the hole.
Right.
Which is the ultimate aim. It's like I make up all these stories about getting there and what the process is and what the plan is. Like, just get a bloody ball in the hole. Really, I mean, that's the end game.
Right.
To complicate it with all this stuff about meterage and wind speeds and blah blah blah. But it's just trust the body and get the ball in the hole.
That's it.
End of the day,
That's it. Everything's happening too far for conscious thought to be involved.
Yeah.
And it was Seve Ballesteros, famous golfer.
Oh, good old Seve back in the 70s and 80s.
the dark, sort of tall, handsome man he was. Spaniard, wasn't he? Ballesteros, I think he might have been, or Italian. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that the more I practice, the luckier I get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? What's that telling you?
Yeah.
That a lot of that practice that becomes then unconscious thought becomes unconscious, and that program that's going in there. Same as if you're watching too much TV and mainstream TV, there's maybe not a great program that's going in there, but same principle, right? It's going in each time he sees it, and the body and the muscle memory and everything, and then it's like come up on race day and just let it happen. The same as if I'm doing, let's say, a triathlon, and I've been doing all the running and practicing, and I'm running, the half marathon, let's say, at the end of a half Ironman, or I've already run many of those beforehand. Race day is actually the prize, because what you'll do is I'll go, I just want to go and enjoy this today. I'm going to be a participant. I'm not going to be putting any pressure on myself. I want to go and enjoy it and be part of it and get into that zone, that flow zone, and get into that rhythm. And the thing is, you end up being always about 20% faster than you were at practice, because there's adrenaline, there's other people's energy, there's spectators, it just happens.
Yeah, I just did that on Saturday, Tom. I went for running in Kumbaba Park here with all the kangaroos on the Saturday morning, 5:30 start, with 15 other runners, with a lady who's there as the coach. She's the running coach. And the synergy in the group, it was the easiest, it's 11 Ks we ran, the easiest 10 or 11 Ks I've run thus far, because I was in the flow, having fun, enjoying it, talking to a few people while running. It was a nice synergy, nice energy. I was in a comfortable space, in a beautiful environment. And it was actually, I won't say it was easy, but I said to the lady, I actually enjoyed this run. And she said, good, you're getting there.
Ha! There you go, right?
Yeah. So I'm running again tonight. So it'll be interesting tonight. Can I get into that joy space? Can I get into that flow state tonight when I'm running?
Yep.
Obviously the body hurts sometimes, stitch and sores and pulling muscles and things. But apart from that, physical, can I get my mind into the flow state? That's it. That's always my task.
That for me is always the first goal is let's start off. You have these like inexperienced runners and they're bolting off. Well, some of them bolt off because they're actually bloody fast for a long distance. But those are heavily trained guys. And then we've got some of Australia's best just flying past in the background there. You can see it. It's a chopper. Some of them will sprint off, and within a few kilometers, I'm then running past them. And they're exhausted. And it's building up, and you want to do a negative split time. So halfway through, you want your second half to actually be faster, but you build these things. You don't go jarring stuff, and also let's not get confused also with everything in moderation, because something that I was taught and really resonated with me, because I know what I'm like, as do my friends that are close enough to me. It's everything in moderation, including, I was told by an Ayurvedic practitioner, including moderation in your case, Tommy.
Yeah.
Because I'll go, right? So, okay.
I like that one.
Let's be balanced. Everybody, balance. We're going to do this, that. That means we're balanced. Right. Let's go hard at that. Right? No.
Balance the balance, Tommy. Balance the balance.
Balance the balance. Balance the balance. I love it. So that is something I have to very consciously be aware of. And for me, with my meditation today now, I want to be getting more meditation in from not the morning, but sometime during the day. In fact, at night, if I can, before going to sleep. And then maybe one around the middle of the day. That'd be a big achievement for me to just getting more of that space in my day.
Yeah. So tell me what I might do at this point, if I may. There's a meditation that I use, that I introduce to a lot of people when I'm teaching meditation in the space, is there's a lot of focus on meditation about going in, and there's a lot of focus on meditation about going out. Some people go out to the cosmos, some people go into the soul, blah, blah, blah. And if we go in, it's not really balanced to the out. If we go out, it's not really balanced to the in. So I say to people, if you can find the breath, we have the in-breath and the out-breath. If you can focus on neither the out or the in, but in the stillness of the breath, in that quiet space, so soft breathing, not heavy breathing, and not focusing on breathing going in and not focused on breathing going out, but focus on holding the stillness of the space. And it's a really beautiful meditation, because what it does, it creates a natural flow of in and out without following the in or out, but just allowing that to happen naturally, because we don't have, it's going to happen anyway. We don't have to follow it with our mind. It's not like we're not going to breathe in and out, like we'd be dead if we didn't. So rather than following the breath in or out, let that be natural, but just hold the focus of being in the stillness. It's a really beautiful meditation. Right. So there's a little gift for all our viewers.
Lovely, and I think that's going to be a good segue, because I'm actually running about 3 minutes late for another for a Zoom call right now.
Balance, Tommy. Balance.
But I was going to say, I think it's a great segue into, I think when we get to Friday's CAP TV and looking at flow from a spiritual sense, how do you get there? How do you stay there? And just enjoy that whole experience and what you can get from it, being in flow spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah, spiritual flow. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, and achieving that state more often in my life as well.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Tommy, before you run off to find more balance in your life, Matt, how can people tune into Tommy, the biotech exec balance expert?
There we go. Right, yeah, on the trapeze wire, on the tightrope. So to get to me, let's connect at tommygallant.com. Is one way, or Tommy Gallant on Facebook or on LinkedIn. But how can they find you and then us, Mr. Hanks?
Well, Adrian Hanks website, Adrian Hanks LinkedIn, Adrian Hanks Facebook, Adrian Hanks on the Gold Coast. Come and buy me lunch and we can spend some time together. And that'll be a good thing. You can pick my brains while having lunch. And how can they find us? Well, they can find us on LinkedIn on the Corporate Alchemist page. And if you want to go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole and want to become part of the inner group, you can join the group if you're in that sort of male exec business space. So that's probably a wrap for our Wellness Wednesday, Mr. Tommy Gland.
I think it is. And I did forget to also say biotechexec.net for the executives out there that want to do the executive lifestyle assessment. And I won't give them lunch necessarily, but I'll give them 20 to 30 minutes of my time, Adrian. They can have a virtual lunch we'll have a virtual lunch and they can eat while we're talking or I'm talking or asking questions. But 20 or 30 minutes with myself can very easily be booked in there. And if you fill out that executive life assessment survey and see how you actually went in that survey, and we can review that. So that is a wrap, Mr. Hanks. We've got a full weekend coming up, filming our series of 12 weeks of corporate Zen and getting peak performance flow states longer.
We have, and we're going to have to find some. We're going to have to find some balance through that because there's a lot of storms coming from Saturday right through for 5 days. So hopefully there'll be quiet storms.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we hope. All right. Have a great day, Mr. Hanks. Anybody else out there, and we'll see you on the next Cap TV
on Friday.
All righty.
See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.